What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today we're going to be talking about Aterian Inc., ticker symbol ATER, and we are in a very crucial time for this stock. Things are very tenuous. If you look at the chart, you will see why. We are currently using $9.20 as a support level, right? Now, we have been on a massive run up today, right? We were up over 13%, up massively even. Just a couple of hours ago, right, when we were at $9.66. Since then, we have fallen a little bit. We're now hitting the $9.20 level as support. And this is actually a very key level, right? You can see that it acted as a resistance earlier in the day. We soared through it eventually before rebounding to it. Now, it's going to be very key and very important that this stock remain above $9.20 if we want to see a continuation of this rally in the coming days. Now, here's why. If you look at the 30-day chart, you can see that we have used $9.20 as a key support level several times, right? We used it here in after hours, we used it here during the trading day, and then later on, we ended up using it again, okay? Now, after we've broken through it, right? After we broke down through 920, we have not yet touched this level again, okay? This is our first time returning to $9.20. Ever since then, we've basically just been trading in the $8 to $9 range. And it was actually looking pretty bearish for ATR at a certain point, right? When we were breaking through $8, it was almost like just a straight line that we were moving down. Thankfully, we found some support at 8, and we are now trying to rebound up through $9.20. Now, it's going to be very important that we hold this level, because if we don't, then that would make it look like on the chart like we're bouncing off of 920, moving back down, and then we could begin to retest 8. It's going to be very important that we do not do that, because we actually need some positive catalysts for this stock. And one of the positive catalysts that we can expect is some pressure to be put on shorts and some pressure to be put on people who have sold options on the stock. So we're going to break down both of those things. First of all, let's look at the short interest, right? You can see that today, shorts are actually exiting their positions because it's looking like ATER might be on a more bullish run for the next couple of days at the very least, right? That brings short interest down to 29%, just about almost 30%. And you can see that it's already down massively from where it was at its highs when it was around 60, almost 70%, above 70% at some times when we were on the first leg of this massive run-up when we were hitting $20. Since then, a lot of shorts have covered. A lot of them have actually probably made profits. A lot of them may have been shorting around here or here and have actually, covered around 8. And even some are covering today, right? We're seeing that short interest is down today, right? Shorts are actually exiting their positions. It's looking very bullish for ATR at the moment, as long as we can hold that 920 level. Now, you can see on Google Trends, if we look at the past 7 days, that ATER is actually doing fairly well, right? We are moving up now in search volume, especially in the later part of the day, and that's something that's always very bullish to see. When ATR, typically ends up peaking around 7 a.m., 9 a.m. on this day, 6 a.m. So basically in very early morning hours before the markets are open and before trading begins. Now, what we see here is we're actually continually rising throughout the course of the day, which is very bullish for the stock. You'd like to see that because that means interest is growing throughout the day. It's not just a morning pump, and it could actually be leading to something more. Now, that's very good for the stock. Obviously, as more people look into it and get invested in it, that's going to raise the price. We're going to need to see a lot more than Google Trends stated, though, right? A lot of people are banking on the fact that there are still very many shorts in this stock, and that could lead to a squeeze. Now, if you look at the options flow, it's not as bullish as the short data. It's still decent, though. You can see that there are thousands of open interest call options at various strike prices, all the way up to $55 for the November 19th strike date. Now, the good news about this is that this strike date is fairly far out in the future, right? It's about 30 days out. Today is October 19th. This is the November 19th strike date. So we do have a bit of time before these options actually are going to be expiring. So there's plenty of time for more people to buy up options. And that is something I expect will happen as the price continues rising, right? As this stock continues to grow its momentum, if it does, then I expect more people will be interested in getting in on it, getting in on this trade. And options is oftentimes the way that people choose to do that, especially if they have lower amounts of capital, right? If they can't afford to buy $100,000 worth of shares, they might opt to instead buy, $5,000 or $10,000 worth of options so that they can have a similar amount of control over the stock as they would if they had much more share-wise, right? So they can actually inflate their earnings, but also inflate their losses, right? If the stock then moves down and they've bought all these options, they can end up losing quite a bit. But people buying these options are likely going to be buying them from institutions, which are selling them likely naked, right? Institutions, as we've already seen, are very heavily shorting this. You can see the 29% short interest of the percentage of the free float that we've got. Institutions do not have very many shares of this stock, right? They're mostly net negative shares, right? They have short positions instead of actual shares. That means that when they are selling these options contracts, when they're selling these calls, they are essentially taking a naked call position. And that means that they don't have the underlying shares to back up the contract if it expires in the money. Now, what that means is that when this stock does start rising and breaks through some resistance levels and actually makes these strike prices in the money, like $10 for say, let's say $10, that's going to act as a resistance level. However, if we are able to break and hold above $10, the closer we get to this strike date, the more people, the more institutions rather, are going to have to buy up shares of ATR, raising the price even more to cover these almost 13,000 open interest call options. Now that's very bullish for ATR. Obviously, as institutions are buying up shares, it will be just basically a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If we break through 10, then it's almost guaranteed that we'll continue moving up, at least in the short term, right? As those institutions cover their call option positions if we're close enough to the November 19th strike date at that time. Now, obviously, institutions have a lot of ways to manipulate stocks. Shorts are one of them, and 29% is not the highest short interest as a percentage of the free float that we've seen, right? We've obviously seen short percentages much higher than this, upwards of 90% at times. So shorts do have a lot of ammo, even with this stock, right? We've seen percentages over 70. So they could essentially double their short position if they really wanted to push this thing down. However, I don't know if they do. I think that ATER has gotten to a point where its fundamental valuation might actually just be higher than this. I don't know if shorts are willing to build up a long-term massive short position on a stock that was at one point trading at $50 in the past year and has long-term support levels at $8, which it's just now bouncing off of. So that's just another reason why we are seeing massive appreciation in price today, right? We're up 11%, and it looks like we are actually breaking through a little bit on this $9.20 level. Like I said, we're likely to see some volatility around it. I was surprised when we just shot right through right here, when we just broke right through and hit 966. I was surprised, and it makes a lot of sense to me to see this thing returning to 920 because it is such an important resistance level for this stock that we have used several times as support. It makes perfect sense that we're going to play around at this level for a bit. But what's important to note is that you'll have to watch through the end of the day. You want to see us ending above this level, or at least coming up in after hours or tomorrow's pre-market, right? Basically, you want to be above $9.20 with this stock. That's what's making this bullish play, in my opinion. If you see it below 920, that could be very bearish. It would look more so like we're bouncing off of this. And oftentimes traders play off these technical patterns and these support and resistance levels. So if you do see it breaking down below 920, in a significant way, right? Not just playing around it like we are here, but actually making significant moves to the downside, breaking through other new support levels that we may have formed, maybe around $9, then that would actually be an indication to me that this may be turning into more of a bearish play. That's something I wouldn't like to see. I'm hoping that we can actually just sail right through this, maybe play around it for a little bit longer, move up through the end of the day, and probably, hopefully hit 10 tomorrow, right? If we can continue this momentum, I think that a lot of people are getting interested in it. You can see that on Reddit and Wall Street Bets, it's actually ranking as the number 8 stock, Aterian Inc. right here, ATER, up 178% mention-wise. We've got 200 mentions and 1,500 upvotes on this stock on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. It's remained a very popular one throughout even its crash. So there is a lot of potential firepower the traders have on Reddit that they can put towards buying this stock, right? A lot of Reddit traders may be getting out of other trades and be looking for the next squeeze. And this is looking like a pretty prime target, right? It's pretty ripe. It has not yet soared to incredible heights. Like we've been at $20 just a month ago. We're not even at 10 right now. So there is still 2x potential in this very easily. And if you look at the long term, if you look at the year, there is still much greater than that. We have risen quite a bit over the course of the past year. So there is the potential that we could do something similar, maybe make those highs back. We would have to break this $20 level first, though. That's the first target that we have to break. And before we do that, we have to break the $10 level. So we're really just hoping to hold 920 today, and then we'll look at those future levels in other videos in the future. So if you guys enjoy me covering ATER stock, consider subscribing to the channel. And that's what I've got for you on this stock today. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.